Welcome to Resilient Love Podcast.
Join hosts Quentin and Brianna as they discuss tips on love, life, and
business.
Let's get into this next episode. Hey everybody.
Hey everybody.
We are back with another episode of Resilient Love. Okay, you own it. Good. All right. So, guys, we are back again. And this episode, we are talking about purpose in a pandemic. You know, throughout this time, if you guys recognize, this month, March 2021, represents one solid year since the first case was actually mentioned. But outside of that, there were some things happening in people's lives that you just wouldn't know unless you took the time to ask. And so we have a special guest with us today, our friend, Miss Lita Ward. Hi, Miss Lita.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thank you guys so much for having me on this wonderful, purpose-driven broadcast.
Yes. And she said it best. Look, we're gonna have to keep you on. So I don't want to hold the conversation. Go ahead, Q.
So I'm so glad to have Miss Lita. I'm gonna jump right in with the first one. We will allow you to introduce yourself to our listeners and tell them how amazing you really are beyond what we know.
Oh my Lord. Please don't even start. But my name is Lita P. Ward, and I'm the owner and operator of LPW Editing and Consulting Services, LLC, and editor of Midwife Publishing. And I am really grateful to be here today. I'm just an ordinary person trying to do extraordinary things by an amazing and awesome God. So that's just who I am in a nutshell. I'm just me. I've been knowing Q and Brianna for a long time, and I tell you, you guys have been a blessing in my lives. So I just really appreciate being here today. Really, I really do.
Yes, it's like great minds. It's like a whole think tank right now. And you know, that brings us to our next one about how we are advocates for living out our God-given purpose. And you said it best. You know, you're doing extraordinary things to an amazing God. So when you talk about and reflect over this year, what was the purpose in the pandemic for you?
Wow. Well, okay. For many of us, I think that the pandemic was, it was like reset, restart, and refocus.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a reset for me economically and financially, because I was working for the University of Mount Olive, and I had been there for 15 years, and I loved my job. And I would often tell people, I'm not leaving this place unless they keep me out. Okay. But people always tell me, no, you should be, you're not supposed to be here and blah, blah. And I'm saying to myself, you don't know my pocketbook. I have these benefits. I love what I do. Even though my job was in a transition, at one point in time, I was like I was face to face with students. Mm-hmm. But when the university transitioned to more online, I was no longer interacting person with the students, which I lost. I loved it. Yeah. And I became more of a salesperson. So I knew that it was transitioning. But when the pandemic hit, they terminated all of the director's positions, and I cited our assistant's positions. So for me, the purpose of the pandemic for me was it was almost like resetting my mindset of not being complacent, because I think I had become complacent in the role at university. And I do believe, even though I had started my business in 2014, sometimes I looked at it as almost as a hobby.
Oh.
So this really made me understand that, sis, this is no longer a hobby for you, but this is your profession now. This is your business, and you
Mm-hmm.
need to treat it as such. So, not only did it shift my finances, it shift my mindset, and it caused me to refocus and put things in a different perspective. Not just, it, and of course there's a spiritual piece to that,
Yeah.
but right now we're talking entrepreneurship, but that's what it did for me.
Wow. And Quentin and I can really hit that point too, because I was teaching. It's amazing how God worked, because in the pandemic I was teaching preschoolers and now I'm teaching high schoolers. So, I definitely transitioned.
Yeah, you did.
And Q.
I went from having two jobs to furlough on both, and then working remote the
Wow.
next year. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the
Yeah.
transition, the purpose in the pandemic definitely showed us that God, there's more. That's the word
Hmm.
God gave me for 2021. There's more in store.
Exactly. Exactly.
So our next question is, what are the differences and similarities in working a 9 to 5 versus the working your own business?
Okay. Jotted some couple of them down. I think the main difference for me was being able to set my own schedule. With
Mm-hmm.
the 9 to 5, I had to be there at 8:30 or 9, and I leave there at 6. But I noticed that with my own business, I tend to work more hours because I'm able to set that schedule. I may have a client that say, well, I can't talk to you during 9 to 5 because I'm working a job. So they
Right.
may not be able to have a consultation or a book coaching, class with me until maybe 7 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would stay up, you guys, editing or formatting like 10 o'clock, or I would get up at midnight, can't sleep and work on a book. And my husband like, it's like you're working more hours now than when you were working, at the university.
Yeah.
So, but another good thing about is the flexibility,
Mm-hmm.
where I'm able to set my own schedule. Because my oldest daughter, she became ill in October of 2020. And she's in Raleigh, her and her husband and son. So I had to go and live with them from October until a week before Christmas. And I know that if I had a 9 to 5, I would not have been able to do that. So there's a lot of purpose in that pandemic,
Yeah.
because God already knew that I was going to be needed, somewhere else. So,
Mm-hmm.
so don't, I tell people all the time, don't sweat God's purpose and his plan for your life, because one way or the other, it's going to come to fruition. You can kick and scream all you want, but you just might as well just get with the program and make your life a little bit less stressful and a little bit easier, and just go with the flow. So that's the difference for me. Now the similarity was being professional and working with
Yes.
integrity. If you say you have this set out for you to do, you need to do it. If you tell somebody that you're gonna do this, and that's what you need to do.
Right.
And definitely being professional at all times. I think that's the greatest similarity of working a 9 to 5 and working your own business. You still want to have those great assets that you had, in the marketplace, in your business.
And I love how you said still professional.
Yeah.
Because especially, and I'm gonna just take a little veer off right here. We are African Americans and we have to keep the professionalism at its highest. I
Yes.
know some people don't want to say that. That's like the elephant in the room, but
Mm-hmm.
we have to. And a lot of times, if we have an off day as entrepreneurs, like it's almost like you really can't have an off day. I told Quentin, because I myself actually got ill. And it's like during my time, it was almost like, girl, you really can't be sick because you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. And you want to keep that level of professionalism clear, cut
Mm-hmm.
across the board, and communicate whatever changes are happening. And it's so amazing, like you said, how God already knew. I need to take you out of this set location and give you that open opportunity to move like you need to. So that's
Exactly.
awesome. Yeah.
Exactly.
Um, Yeah, same for me. Is working remote is definitely a change for me. Never before have I ever thought. So, really, even though I can just get up, maneuver how I want to, I still have to create a structure in my day.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
even in my downtime, be doing something productive.
Right, right. You're
Yeah.
right because I could definitely like just get up and do my devotion, and try to do a little bit of workout, and then just immediately get distracted.
Mm.
Immediately get distracted. Like, okay, girl, you're supposed to be doing this, but you over there doing three other things that somebody else can take care of. It's almost like you still have to learn how to what I'm trying to say, not designate, but
Multitask.
not multitask, but somebody else can do it. You know,
Oh yeah, delegate.
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 Somebody else can do that. Your hands
Right.
don't have to be in everything. Focus. Become laser focused on what you're supposed to do during that day, and then once you're done doing what's on your schedule to do, prioritize. Then if that's not done, then go do it. And then I also had an issue of I'm home, so I just felt like I had to clean up everything. I mean, I'm like, girl, you have a business and it's not housekeeping right now. That
Right.
it's okay. It's okay. Leave that there. Stick with your schedule and prioritize. So I did have that issue, not being in a 9 to 5 because I was home. I just felt like I had to cook, I had to clean, I don't know. I guess that's just the wife in me. I just felt like I had to do all those
Right.
things, because I was home, but I still had to remember you have a business to run. And
Mm-hmm.
if you don't run it, who's going to do it for you? Because it's you. It's just you.
Just you. And
Yeah.
that's so powerful. Like we all want to have that just us. This is my thing, this is my baby. But there comes a level of responsibility in running your own business because you are responsible for filing those taxes. You are
Yes.
responsible for making sure, you dot every I, cross every T. So it's a different level. We have HR for that. I am
Right.
HR. Did you want to add anything?
Uh, it's just funny when you said HR. You want to pick up the line and dial an extension and say, HR, I got this issue with my check, but you have to call yourself and say,
Self, we didn't
yeah.
take care of that. And that brings us to this other question about what's your main advice for
Mm.
someone who feels led to go into full-time entrepreneurship?
Okay. What I would like to share with them is to make sure you're ready to handle your finances responsibly,
Mm-hmm.
because it may be a while before you are in um I'm on the plus side.
Right,
Hmm.
right.
It may be a while, just because you get that first good check does not mean for you to go out and splurge and buy you those shoes or that pocketbook you've been looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Take it and invest back into your business or just save.
Yeah.
So, because finances can cause a lot of stress.
Mm-hmm.
Whether and even though I'm running this business, I still have a household. We still have bills. You know what I'm saying? When I took over, well, became an entrepreneur full time. I wasn't just trying to put everything on my husband.
Right.
you know, I still wanted to be able to, help out like I did before. So my advice is to handle your finances responsibly. Please.
Please,
Please do
Linda,
that. And
listen.
right, be prepared to, take some losses and learn from them. Because, even though you're in business, everybody's not going to utilize your services,
Mm,
especially family and friends. And try not to take that personal. You have to understand that they're not the only one with wallets and pocketbooks and purses.
did y'all catch that?
And oftentimes, your services you have may not fit their wallets and purses, but it does fit a lot of wallets and purses out there. Okay. So do not, don't lessen or minimize what you have to offer. by thinking it is too much. If you don't value yourself, no one else is going to value yourself.
That's right.
But make sure what you are charging, you're giving more than what you're charging. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a lot of work. It can be that professionalism. It can be, that integrity, that spirit of integrity. It can be, mentoring, whatever it is. It does not necessarily have to, be taken away from your finances.
Exactly. Man.
I know there was a lot, but I couldn't just think of just one thing.
No, that's good. Because we need the truth. And the truth shall set you free. And let you know if you're going to really pursue this, or is this just you having a rough day?
Yeah.
And I think it's equally important because we know that a lot of entrepreneurs are going to be birthed out of this pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
They already have began, but there's going to be more. And they need some foundational principles to stand on when times get hard.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because so many be ready to just throw in the towel because it's not going to be the way you see it. You looking at all the famous entrepreneurs and they made it big. I don't think the majority of them made it overnight.
Come on.
Not the ones that I've seen, and not the ones that look like me.
Well.
So
exactly.
Us.
Right.
So yeah, they had to work for it. So you do have to work. It's not going to come easy. Mm-hmm. Nothing worth having ever does.
Yeah, and I love that because you have to set a foundation. You don't want to have that almost like I won the lottery type business. Like it's good for this season,
right?
But I didn't do the proper harvesting, so it'll last for the next one. Yeah.
It definitely builds momentum, but it jumps right into the next question, and I'm really interested in hearing the answer to how has this transition made you more resilient?
Well, I read this somewhere, and I had it written down. It says that resilience is our ability to bounce back from the stresses of life. It's not about avoiding the stress, but learning to thrive within the stress.
Ooh.
And I know that this pandemic has been very stressful, emotionally, spiritually, financially. I mean, the whole nine. But it has taught me to lean more on God. It really has. And it has also taught me that I have to trust Him more, because when that safety net was snatched from under me, which was my job,
yes,
I was like, what in the world are we going to do now? And my husband has always been the voice of reason. He was like, listen, you need to calm down. It's going to work out. If God allowed it to happen, He already has a plan in place for it. But if you don't feel like you see it, then you need to seek Him so He can reveal it more to you. Because my natural mind said, how are our bills going to get paid? We got this house, I got this car, you got your truck over there, but I got this car. How are we going to make it? But even in the pandemic, you guys, I was able to pay off my car.
Tell God thank you.
So who does that other than Him?
Yes.
So I was worried about the car making a monthly payment, but He already had it made out where I was going to be able to pay it off. So
somebody say paid off.
Paid off. So so it and then I looked up resilience, and it said that it was made of 5 pillars: self-awareness, mindfulness, self-care, positive relationships, and purpose. So in this pandemic, you had to have been able to become more self-aware, because you had to stay home.
Yes. I looked at myself and myself said, you home.
You home. What are you finna do now?
Hello.
You don't have a job.
Yeah.
What are you going to do in this? They called it downtime, but it was never downtime for me. They called it wasn't, because I became more mindful of, God, what is it that you would have me to do? I became more purpose minded.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, and even at when they lifted up some of the, some of the
regulations,
I still look for a job. And I was like, why are you looking for a job? You're at this computer every day, you're working on this manuscript, or someone is calling you, or you're mentoring, or you're coaching. Why are you looking for a job? Because that's the other side of me saying, but the benefit, I need the health benefits. He was like, no, you don't need that. It's being taken care of.
Yeah.
It's being taken care of. So, I mean, and then, self-care, you have to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't, how are you going to be able to function? And then the other thing was, the purpose piece. Okay. Yeah. Now, I looked up the purpose piece because it was just, when I looked at purpose in the pandemic, when I saw it on your broadcast, I'm like, oh, okay. So she did tell me that earlier, but I completely forgot all about purpose was actually the key. So when I looked up purpose, it's just the educator in me. You guys.
Yeah, you got to dissect this thing. You got to dissect it.
Right. Purpose is a reason something or someone was created. And then God gave me the God-given design and tapestry of our lives. It's our roadmap to success and accomplishing life's assignment. So my resilience is helping me to fulfill my purpose in the kingdom. And what he has blessed me in this pandemic to do full time.
Yeah.
So I don't look at it so much as entrepreneurship. I'm looking at it as fulfilling my purpose in the kingdom. I'm looking at it as it's a life's assignment. And I feel like if I handle it like that, by me putting him first, then I do what I'm supposed to do. I walk in integrity. I be professional. When someone talks down to me or gets on my nerves or under my skin, I'll act like he wants me to act. I won't act like them, even though I want to act like them. but the Holy Spirit won't let me act like them.
Hello.
So, right. So
you've been tested, tried.
But you survive. Yes, we survive. Not just surviving, but we thriving.
We thriving. Exactly. And that's so powerful, you guys, because Miss Lita just dropped a whole book. She is the editorial midwife. She just dropped the whole book in this session. So you guys better catch The Purpose in the Pandemic, Lita P. Ward. So I want to know, Miss Lita, before we close out, what else do you want to leave with our listeners and let them know where they can follow you?
What else I want to know? I want them to keep their eyes and ears open to the Resilient Love podcast. Because you guys are dropping some dimes, and you're dropping wisdom and knowledge and understanding. And you guys have a lot to offer. I'm really excited about you guys. Excited about your book, your ebook that you released. Yeah. And looking for more. And that's all I want to share about you guys. But as far as how they can, connect with me, I'm on Instagram as _editorial_midwife, or they can check me out on Facebook at LPW Editing. I do have a Facebook page, or litaward.org.
Well. I tell you what, I have gained some knowledge, some keys. I got the keys. I'm going to say that. I'm going to have some keys to my car, keys to the house. Some of you guys better catch these nuggets, and you're going to have some keys too to unlock some doors.
All right.
Because the pandemic really ain't over.
Mm-mm. It's not.
I mean, there's still some things that's going to be birthed even out of this.
Exactly.
So, Q, what you want to say?
As you were talking about keys, I heard early on in the pandemic there will be keys in the streets. But the thing about keys in the streets, you still got to do the work and go pick them up
Mhm.
and
All right.
do what's necessary to keep the keys.
Mm-hmm.
So you can get the keys and still lose them. So you got to keep those foundational principles intact.
Yep.
Come on, Prophet Q.
Oh man, this has been so good. Listen, drop your comments down there. Leave us a great review on Apple Podcasts, even on other listening platforms. And listen, the links will be in the description box. And you guys have a great one.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you to all listeners and subscribers. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Leave us a 5-star review on Apple so that we can continue sharing resilient love. Thanks for listening.